Hey everybody, welcome back to Battle Ready Inc. So today's deck profile is going to be over Armor's VeeMon Armor. This is one of the most anticipated decks coming out of the next format. This thing is crazy. Mario's Gaming World put it that this is basically like Rookie Rush, just evolved into a whole new form, and I completely agree. It is so powerful. It is a level 4 Rush, also similar to what we saw with Purple. Purple doing a lot of level 4 Rush in the last format. But now we're doing it with Armor, so even after they get deleted, the rookie can still continue attacking and things like that. It's just so powerful of a deck. I cannot wait to get into this. Also, I want to show off this amazing Zen Dragon Designs game mat. This is, of course, their VeeMon Armor mat. They sent this to me, and I definitely wanted to show you off, or show it off to you guys. My wife is absolutely looking forward to playing with this thing. It is so gorgeous. The colors on it are amazing. Just absolutely wonderful stuff. I'll have a link in the description below where you can see their designs, as well as where you can message them to get a hold of one of them for yourself. And also a sneak peek for next month's new memory marker. We're doing it. We're finally making Demi VeeMon. So if you're going to be wanting one of these, definitely stay tuned and stay on the lookout. We've done the Chibomon before, which is a little baby version, but now we're going to be doing the in training there with an actual Demi VeeMon. Super excited to see this.
I'm all gloved up, and I'm making the baby.
And if you want any of our other memory markers that we've had on the channel, check the Etsy link in the description below. That's where that new memory marker will be, as well as all of our current ones that we have. Alright, so first up, we've got our baby in the form of Upamon. Not running the actual Demi VeeMon in this because we're not actually using a whole lot of jamming. So Upamon is just going to be generically what you go to for blue a lot of times. If your opponent has a Digimon with no Digivolution card, when attacking, you trigger, draw one. This deck is all about needing as much consistency as possible. We don't do a whole lot of traditional evoing all the way up into a Mega in this, so we lose out on a lot of those draws. So we just continuously evo our rookies and our level 4s over and over. So Upamon going to help us get even more draw power. But to make up for that loss of normal evoing, we've got fantastic searchers now. First up is VeeMon. This is the BT8 one that comes out in the set. On play, 3 play cost, pretty standard stuff. Reveal the top 4 cards of your deck. Add 1 2-colored card with blue from among them to your hand. Return the remaining cards to the bottom of the deck. So this is going to be one of your searchers. So I believe I have that backwards. Should be like this. There we go. So this one's pretty good. It searches all of your armors, which is very important. However, I like this VeeMon more. This is the one that comes out in the new starter deck. This is the Imperial starter deck VeeMon. Again, 3 play cost rookie, but on play, reveal the top 3 cards, so 1 less of your deck, but add 1 free type card among them to your hand. Place the remaining cards at the bottom of your deck in any order. For armors, I like this one more because all of your armors are free. All of your VeeMon are free. So free type, this typing right here, so rookie free mini dragon. That's where that becomes relevant. Whereas the first one only hits your level 4s. This one here is going to hit all of your rookies and your level 4s. So I think that's just a tad bit better. Also, this VeeMon says 2-colored card with blue. So I believe you can also pick up the Duo Tamer. So that's really cool because it's a blue and a green. So I think you can hit the Tamer off of that as well. But yeah, both of these are going to be your big searchers for sure. But also with a little bit more consistency here, we also have, this is the VeeMon from the previous starter deck, the Ulforce starter deck that we had. The normal effect here of being able to warp into Ulforce is completely irrelevant. You'll never use this because we're not playing Ulforce. However, this inheritable is very good. Like your early game Evo, like this is a fantastic choice for sure. When attacking, if you have 7 or fewer cards in your hand, trigger, draw 1. So turn 1 Evo choice in raising, fantastic, absolutely, like pretty much a go-to every time. So that's very good. Let's skip this one just 1 second. We'll go to the EX1 VeeMon. This is the one where when it becomes unsuspended, you can gain 1 memory. a little less used, I would say, possibly in armors as opposed to Imperial, with Pyldramon constantly unsuspending and attacking multiple times. The Veemon here is still good, though. It combos great with Magnamon. Magnamon has a built-in unsuspend, so you can use it in combination with this Veemon to help reduce that Evo cost a little bit. Also, when you're using your Duo Tamer, they have ability that lets you unsuspend one of your Digimon when it Evos into a level, one of your armors here. So when in your level 4s, when you use this effect to unsuspend, it also becomes relevant. So again, reducing all of these guys' Evo costs basically down by 1. So 1 for your level 4s here, except for Magnamon, which becomes a 2 cost to Evo. So pretty powerful. I'm really liking this one. It's a balancing act of which Veemon you prefer to use. You need a lot of Veemons. I'm a big advocate of 16 Veemons right now in armors, just because you almost never Evo beyond level 4, and all of your armors require Veemon to Evo on top of. You'll never really hard play any of your level 4s. So you need as many of these rookies as possible to really make sure you get that consistency. And then also I've got Jamming Veemon in here, of course. I think this is a wonderful card. Being able to just promote up, swing at security, get a check, Evo into one of your armors here, use the Duo Tamer to unsuspend, then the armor attacks, okay? And so you get a second attack off there. Just really great stuff. Potentially, armor release, and then Evo another one and unsuspend. There's a whole lot of just constantly like chain triggers that you can do, and just getting multiple attacks off and just starting it out with a Jamming Veemon is pretty solid. Now I would say he's probably the most independent of all of the Veemon. Like all these other ones are very much concentrated on the armor strategy, work really well with it, whereas Jamming Veemon, he's just a good card. He's always been a great card. His price has never really dropped. For a rare, he's like $10 right now, I think, on TCG Player. He's just going to keep that value for a very long time. And I really like him in armor specifically. In Imperial, I like him a little bit less so, just because you use those inheritables so much more. But yeah, he's a fantastic card for armor. It's just a good like turn starter if you've got the memory to do it. All right, next up is our first armor, in that of Flamedramon. So, Digivolve from Veemon for 2 cost. If you haven't seen my review video where I go over all the cards of BT8, this text here isn't part of his effect. This is an alternate Evo cost, so similar to like something you might see up here, or something in other like something like hybrids where they can talk about Evoing on top of Tamers. This is like an alternate Evo cost, so it's not an effect, so you can Evo this for 2 cost in Raising Area on top of a blue Veemon. So this normally he can only Evo on top of reds, but this effect right here, this alternate Evo cost overwrites that. So you can evolve on top of a blue Veemon in Raising Area for 2 cost. That's why it's in this special little box here, and that's going to apply for all of your armors. Then we got the armor release mechanic. If you're not familiar, when this Digimon would be deleted, you may trash the top card of this Digimon to prevent this Digimon from being deleted. Basically, it's similar to De-Digivolve. If this Digimon would get deleted, you just trash the level 4 right here, and then you keep your Veemon. So if it's suspended, the Veemon underneath will also be suspended. What's really powerful is if you get multiple security attacks, one of the options that we'll get into gives you a security attack +1. You can swing into security, hit, and if your level 4 is deleted, you pop that armor off, and then the Veemon will still get your second check. Which what I love about armor release is that getting multiple security attacks off is so powerful with these guys. Really loving it. And then Flamedramon's special ability here is when attacking, this Digimon gains plus 3,000 DP for the turn. Now keep this in mind, this applies to it even after it gets deleted. So it goes up to 8,000, say it still gets deleted in security, it gets deleted, the Veemon then will also keep that 3,000 DP buff. Also, if you Evo a second armor on top of that Veemon, it will keep that 3,000 DP buff for the turn. So that's really cool. Next up, we got Ragermon, a fantastic card in this set. Again, we got the alternate Evo cost for Veemon. We've got Armor Release again, but this one's when Digivolving, suspend one of your opponent's level 4 or lower Digimon. That's really important for getting past blockers. He's only got 5,000 DP. He's the lowest DP out of all of the Veemon armors, but that's okay because your biggest threat you're worried about is a blocker, and he's just going to suspend all those level 4 blockers out there. I think the most common one you're going to have to worry about this format is going to be the X antibody level 4 that gains blocker. So this just taking care of that is awesome. Absolutely great part of the strategy. Like, all of this feels good. I don't ever have to worry about blockers when I'm playing in this because they all have ways to basically mitigate them and make them very irrelevant. So yeah, next up we got Magnamon. This is kind of like the semi-boss monster of the deck. So Evo on top of Veemon for 3 cost, so it is 1 more than the other ones. But it's to reflect that he's the golden armor. He's from the Egg of Miracles, which is like a very rare egg, and it only comes out occasionally, and they only get to use it once. But it's super, super strong, so that's kind of what they're reflecting here. Has blocker, okay, that's not bad. Armor Release again, but then when Digivolving, unsuspend this Digimon, so he has that built-in unsuspend rather than needing the tamer. And then for each card with armor in its stage in your trash, this Digimon gains plus 2,000 DP until the end of your opponent's next turn. If you saw the feature match earlier this week where we had this, literally Alphamon had to pump himself up by what is it, 1,000 or 2,000 just to get over this guy because he was just chilling there for like, it might have been what, 13,000 DP is what he had on him. So yeah, you got to be really careful of these. If your opponent doesn't keep track of how many you have in trash and ask, and they swing in and you block, I mean, you know, too bad, so sad. If they lose their Digimon because they weren't being cautious of this, that's on them. But still, a crazy powerful card. Looks awesome. That artwork is incredible. I think I like this artwork more than the alternate art, honestly. But yeah, so fantastic card, good blocker, a good way to pass turn is with Magnamon. And then great also, again, for when we get into X Antibody in the next main set. So really cool card. All 3 of these armors are super cool. And then my tech of choice is in the level 5 slot. There's 2 different ways you can go. You can go with the Pyldramon to then Jagras 2 of your level 4s together and then attack twice with a Pyldramon. Very aggro for sure. You know, if you swing with both those armors and they both survive, then you Jagras and then attack 2 more times. I mean, that's 4 security checks potentially right there. But my thing is, most of the time those armors get deleted in security. Honestly, if you're swinging into security, a lot of times they just get deleted. So if you're trying to go for that super aggro play, it's not really my thing. And then if you just Jagras them together before you attack, you're only still getting 2 attacks. So you can either swing with each of the armors independently, or for 2 attacks, or you can Jagras together for 2 attacks. So I'm not too sold on it. My go-to is definitely going to be Chimeramon. And that's because when Digivolving, you may place 1 level 5 or lower Digimon from the bottom of this Digimon's Digivolution cards from your trash. Then up to 4 of your opponent's Digimon get minus 1,000 DP for each color Digimon this has until the end of your opponent's next turn. So white, and then you've got red, blue, green, and yellow. So that's going to be minus 5,000 DP on all, or not on all, sorry, on, was it 4 of your opponent's Digimon. But most of the time your opponent doesn't ever have a field bigger than 4. In this current format, minus 5,000 DP is going to be huge. Just look at our armors here. Ragermon and then Flamedramon, after it's no longer your turn, is also back down to 5,000. That's going to clear both of those. That minus 5,000 DP, even if they armor release, stays on the Veemon and will also kill the Veemon. So minusing DP is a great counter to armor. So if you expect a lot of armors, Chimeramon is going to be your friend for sure. And then as well as, deleting the Veemons and any other searchers and starters and things like that that your opponent might have on field. Memory blockers, there's just a ton of different things. If anyone's playing hybrid still and are running Bokomons, Chimeramon is just a huge answer to a lot of this stuff. As well as he has 8,000 DP, so you minus 5K on something, you're crashing with anything at 13,000 DP. Anything less than that, which is most of the time going to be 12 or 11 for these megas, Chimeramon can then swing over that mega. So that is super powerful. He is a very powerful clear card. Also, your turn. This Digimon is also treated as the color of the Digivolution cards. While this Digimon has 4 or more colors, it gains plus 4,000 DP. So if you manage to get all of your armors underneath this guy, he turns into a 12,000 beater. And you do that minus 5k on something, then there you go. You're basically, Chimeramon's able to clear anything, any threat in the game at that point. So 12,000 DP plus 5, 17,000 DP essentially. He's clearing everything. All right, next up we got Davis as our memory fixer. Memory fixers are always good. We always like to have them, but he's got so much more value in this deck than he has in the past because we actually have some green targets that we can grab off of him. So on play, being able to grab reveal top 3, add 1 blue, 1 green. All of your Digimon in your main armor line are all blue. So you always have a blue target, basically, which is great. And occasionally, you'll get that extra hit off a Ragermon being able to fill the green slot. So for a memory fixer, we could not ask for something better, I don't think. And next up, we got Davis and Ken Duo Tamer. So start of your main phase. Minder, the main phase is after your draw phase, after your unsuspend phase, and after your raising phase. So after you promote up that Ragermon that's got blue and green, you know, you can trigger this. Or just being able to promote up any of your blue Digimon, getting that +1 is very cool. I really like this new way of doing things. It's at the start of the main phase rather than at the start of the turn. Very cool, very spicy card. But then also, when your Digimon digivolves into a Digimon that has 2 or more colors, you can suspend this Tamer to unsuspend that Digimon. That's what we were talking about earlier. So you can Evo or swing with like the Jamming Vmon, Evo into an armor, use this to unsuspend them, attack again with that armor. You know, so very, very cool card. Really digging this for the strategy. So we're playing it at a 3 of also. I did have it as a 2 of initially. You could maybe drop it back down to a 2 of and bump up Hammer Spark to a 4 of if you want, but I'm really liking these ratios as they are. Next we got the 1 Ice Wall, which is pretty standard. I mean, I say standard. You can only run 1, but it's such a powerful blowout card that I think it's a must in like every blue deck ever. Hammer Spark also very good. We don't have a whole lot of defensive cards. We've got the Magnamons with blockers, so we actually do have some sort of defense in this particular build, as opposed to a lot of other blue builds that usually don't have a whole lot of defense. But also, I think this main effect is always solid. Gain 1 memory. So many times, Hammer Spark just makes plays where plays didn't previously exist. If you don't have a memory fixer out there, no Tamer to bump you up a little bit, your opponent chokes you to 1. A lot of these, well, I say a lot, but 2 of your main armors here are 2 Evo costs, so just being able to go into a single one of them because of a Hammer Spark is a very powerful card. Next we got Fire Rocket. Initially in testing I was running 3, and it's just I just always want to play this card just constantly. This deck is not a control deck, okay? I'm not trying to make it all these turns down the road. I'm just trying to win as fast as possible. If I'm playing against security control or anything like that, I can't afford to go wide. I can't afford to build up these big boards and then swing and then try to clear all their security, right? That's not how you win with this deck. If they board wipe you like once or twice, you're just toast. You don't have enough resources just to keep going and going and going. So you need to win fast, and I think Fire Rocket is a fantastic card to get you there. So if you have an armor in play, you can ignore the red requirement to play this as a red option. But then main one of your Digimon with 2 or more colors gains security attack +1. Of course, this applies to your armors, but also it could apply to Chimeramon if he has multiple colors underneath because of his effect that says he's also treated as these other colors, because it says 2 or more colors, okay? So gain security attack +1. It's really good on armors, though, because the armors can swing in, get delete, the level 4 gets deleted, the Vmon attack still goes through. But in addition to that, if you think about it, if that Vmon survives and you evo another armor and you can unsuspend them, whether it's a Magnamon or you're using the Duo Tamer there, you know, whatever it is, if you're using the next card we're going to talk about that unsuspends them as well, they keep that security attack +1. So you can swing again and do another 2 checks. So one Fire Rocket could potentially get you 4 security checks. And then, yeah, you just want to play this card. Like, don't try to hoard it in your hand or something like that. The reason we're playing 4 of is to get multiple copies. It's not a brick in your hand. You want to just slam this sucker down. I got an extra memory this turn. Heck yeah, let's go. Flamedramon, Ragermon, Magnamon, whoever, you know, we're getting 2 security checks this turn. That's what we're going for, is to do this as much as possible. Also, security effect, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with blocker. What's really underrated about this, normally in a vacuum here recently, not a big deal, not a whole lot of blockers in play. X Antibody, really looking at giving out that new blocker inheritable. Yeah, so being able to delete an Alphamon that hits this in security, it's pretty cool. Now, Dorugreymon does dodge that, but if they don't have Dorugreymon, yeah, Fire Rocket, real nasty. So I'm really liking Fire Rocket at a 4 for sure. Next, we got Armor Texture, and this is the one I was talking about that has a neat effect here. This one also ignores the color restriction if you have an armor in play, but trash the top card of one of your Digimon with armor and its attribute, then one of your Digimon can digivolve into a Digimon with armor in its attribute in your hand by paying its Digivolution cost. If you do, unsuspend that Digimon. So say you do swing into security and you want to do that big play where you evo into another armor, use your Duo Tamer to unsuspend and attack again. Oh, but they didn't die. They didn't get deleted in security. Oh, that's okay. Just play Armor Texture, and it just pops that level 4 off for you, and then you can evo that new level 4 on top of it, and you don't even have to waste your Duo Tamer. The effect already has it built in to unsuspend. So really liking Armor Texture for sure. Also has a security effect of you may play a level 3 Digimon with free type and its attribute from your hand, or trash without paying its memory cost, and any on-play effects, you're going to get those. So your searchers and stuff like that, really great card to hit off of this. I've got it at a 3 of. You can maybe argue 2, but it feels so powerful. I don't want to cut it down any lower than 3. Like I said, we're more worried about speed and control, or not control, sorry. We're just worried about speed and just getting as many hits in as possible, and I think Armor Texture is a great card to help you get there, just because it has that built-in unsuspend with it, and you're not just using mask change here to swap out targets. You are getting a whole second round of attacks in potentially. So cool card. Next we got Plasma Shot, and this is one of our like slide control cards. You could maybe cut this if you want. I just feel like it brings a little extra added security. So again, if you have an armor in play, you can ignore the color requirements to play it. 4 play cost, not too bad. One of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 4,000 DP for the turn, and for each card with armor in its trait in your trash, all of your opponent's Digimon get minus 1,000 DP. So mid to late game, this card is almost a board wipe. Truly. I know it's going to be a stretch, but say you've got all 12 of your armors in trash, that's minus 12,000 DP to your whole opponent's field, and one of them gets an extra minus 4,000. So delete that, whatever big mega level 7 they got out there, and then just clear the rest of their board too. I know it's a long shot. It probably never happened, but still, just being able to get a couple armors in. 3-4 armors in trash isn't too unheard of, and that's clearing all the rookies on field with this one card. 4 play cost, and you can anytime you could delete more than 2, any more than 2, and I think that 4 play cost is instantly worth the value, and then that minus extra 4,000 DP to clear a big target as well. Like you're taking out some Pyldramons and things like that. Plasma Shot feels pretty good, and then it triggers insecurity. So I'm digging it. I just added 2 of just for some generic removal. If I can't Jagras into a Chimeramon, then Plasma Shot definitely going to be the way to go. Because it's just generic, you can just do it. So very cool. And the last card I've got here is Lightning Blade. Again, ignoring you can ignore the play cost or ignore the color requirements to play it if you have an armor on field, and has a 1 play cost, very low, just like Fire Rocket. Very easy to get this to play. A memory fixer puts you at 3 2 evo into most of your armors still leaves you with 1 extra memory. I think that's so brilliantly planned. 2 evo cost into an armor and then a 1 play cost to go to like buff your armor is so cool. But main, one of your Digimon with 2 or more colors gets plus 2000 DP and piercing for the turn. Now, I only have this as a one of because it's not overly necessary. Like I said, we have ways to get around blockers, either suspend the blockers or just swing over them. But if we're swinging over them, I really like to have that piercing as a possibility, especially if I'm going to double up with Fire Rocket. If I've got the Fire Rocket active and I can also Lightning Blade in 1 turn and still attack, that feels really good. That feels like really good value to me. And if I can clear an opponent's board, do a little bit of board control, not a whole lot, just when the opportunity arises or I just desperately need that piercing to go off. That's why I've just had it as the one of, because it's not an overly must-have for the strategy or anything. It's just a nice sit on in case of emergencies type of card is where I'm really liking it the most. And then also the security, suspend one of your opponent's Digimon. Like, okay, we're doing green things. It's a green card. That's very much a green security effect right there. Suspend one of your opponent's Digimon. So they go in for that big play to like clear all your security. And they've got that rookie whatever left on field to swing for game with. They hit into the Lightning Blade and then boom, just suspend that other rookie. Like literally this deck only needs 1 good turn to full clear and win. So if you could just stop your opponent for 1 more turn, that usually they go into these big plays like, okay, I'm about to lose on this turn, so I'm just gonna go off and just win this turn so that way they don't get another turn. And if they ever hit into any of these cards, I mean, Hammer Spark, Ice Wall, Lightning Blade here, Plasma Shot, potentially a Fire Rocket, like that's a ton of options that they can hit into that all just devastate their turn. Normally, that's like a security control level of interaction of option cards. So having that in this deck that's all about speed is nuts. And what's so awesome about all of those security effects is that they have nothing to do, pretty much, with what the main effect is. The main effect is just all offense, all gas, just go, go, go. And then the security effects is just like, okay, a little bit of defense. Like, brilliantly planned, brilliantly designed cards for this deck, because this deck is not about defense, okay? So having it built into their offensive options is so cool. I love this deck. The ratios are, you can go all different ways between your option cards down here, between your VMon counts. I'm like a big advocate of 16. Like, I would not do less than 16 VMons. You can do more. If you want to do more, you can drop your option cards down a little bit. Like I said, the Tamers feel pretty good. Davis at 3 is it like a must. The Duo Tamer, I think a minimum of 2. And then, yeah, the rest is just kind of play with it. I think this deck is going to do fantastic in this meta, and I cannot wait to see the devastation that it's going to cause, honestly, truly. And my wife is going to be playing this, and I'm really excited for her because now she's going to just be able to dominate our local scene with this deck, and that's super exciting.